everybody. I am so psyched up from this. Oh my God, it was such a phenomenal episode of Shark Tank tonight. Oh goodness. I put out a call to Twitter. I hope people can catch this. If not, if you're catching this on the replay, that is fine. And actually, I didn't realize Kevin O'Leary was going to be doing something on 2020, but I'll catch that. I'm not worried about it. I'm DVRing that. But oh my God, how intense was that episode? I am so glad that the women came out to represent, and I am so glad, and a lot of people may be upset with me for saying this, but I'm so glad that Barbara Corcoran said what she said, because it makes sense. It's like, we're in business, you know, and let me kind of pull back a little bit, because I told you guys earlier that I was changing my hashtag for my Periscopes. I'm not going to use Boss Chicks Chat anymore, because it just felt like it's not next level enough. I think Mogul, there's levels, in my opinion. There are bosses, there are moguls, and then there are power brokers. Power brokers are the ladies like Tyra Banks, like Oprah Winfrey, like Sarah Blakely, those, you know, multi-million and billionaire women who they affect change with their brands. Moguls, I like to consider myself at mogul level. We influence communities, we influence people, and we influence change, you know, not like on the power broker level. I'm not there yet. Hopefully one day I will be. And then boss chicks is, you know, anyone can run a business. Anybody could be a boss. And I think it's a saturated term, but mogul really, these girls on there tonight, this last two, they have the potential to be moguls, because they came in and rocked it. They killed it with their presentation. And then they had what every person who walks through those doors would love to have. Every single shark fighting for their business. Oh my goodness. It just, I still have like an adrenaline rush from it. And it's crazy because I'm like, wow, this is just, let me calm down. Let me calm down. First thing I want to do, hi Val 2020 employee, how are you? I am so proud and upset at the same time at Mickey Bay, was that her name? The one with the eyelashes. First of all, let me just say, I don't have that many. Good to see you. I don't have that many eyelashes, but I think her business is a good idea, and I think there is a high demand for it. Now, she messed up because she wasn't ready. Now, what did I say earlier when I did my Periscope earlier, when I said, I'm good, thank you, I'm very happy. She messed up. What did I say earlier? I said, be prepared when you walk in there. And she wasn't prepared. She may have had all her, her facts in place or whatever, but she wasn't prepared on the level she needed to be, meaning that she didn't have her process patented. She didn't have any kind of leverage behind her. And one of the things I always tell people is have your leverage. She did not have her leverage. So that put her at a disadvantage. And the fact that, the guys don't really understand that. Mark Cuban gave her, a shot. He got up there and said, hey, I'll do it, But she wasn't ready. She was not ready. I loved her fire. I loved her grit. I loved her determination. And I think she's going to go far. But for me, for what she was asking, $60,000 in sales, her year-to-date sales was $60,000 for something that's supposed to be high-end. And the fact that she was asking for $300,000, what did I say about valuations, guys? We got to learn our numbers. I think one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of smaller businesses, and I'm not going to put a color on this, I don't want to, but kind of almost have to, because a lot of sisters, Black women, Latinas, which I am of both, we don't have access to learning about valuations and things like that. So we don't know how to come up with our numbers. So we come up with what we think we'll need. And I think she came up with that number based on what she projects her business to be worth someday. And you can't do that. When someone's writing you a check, they need to see that this business is scalable. They need to see that this is investable. They need to make sure that this is a business that has some room to grow and that they're going to get their return on investment. And I'm not saying she wouldn't get her return on investment. I think she still had a lot of smoothing out to do with her company before. And then it looks like she did something that I talked about before when I talked about the company Searchable that imploded because they hired like 400 employees before they really needed them. I think that because she hasn't patented her process and she hasn't gotten everything down pat, I think it's dangerous for her to be hiring right now. But without looking into her numbers and without knowing her and talking to her, I don't know. I hope that she sees this, and I really hope that she does call me or reach out to me, because I'm going to try to reach out to her because I would love to talk with her. Hey, Miss Phenom, I would love to talk with her and just kind of give her some sisterly guidance, because I think that she has an opportunity. She had it packaged wrong. So the lessons we learned from that instance were, no, don't put empowerme.org up yet. Let me just say this real quick, guys. I have torn down the website because I'm rebuilding it, and it looks like a hot mess right now. So if you go there, nothing is going to be where it is. It's going to look all crazy or whatever. So yeah, they can go to ia.empowerme.org. It's ia.empowerme.org. It's for my Incubate to Accelerate program. But back to Mickey, I think that she just needs some smoothing over. Her rough edges need to be smoothed over, and I think she'll be able to get in a better position where she can ask for funding. Now, will she get $300,000? I don't know. I don't think she will. Not at this point. She still has a lot of growing to do, and I just hope and pray that she can find someone out there in LA who can guide her and mentor her and help her with that and work with her. She needs somebody. She needs a COO to come up in there and kind of go through the whole business with her. Now, let's move on. I'm not going to even get into the security guys because that was painful to watch because they weren't ready. And they kept saying, well, if you give me a chance to talk and if you give me a chance. No, dude, what did I say? You always be prepared. You walk into that door with your numbers, with your facts, with your proof, with everything. You bring it all to the table. It's like, to me, I look at going into, and this is not just, when do you know that you need to hire a COO? When you're having trouble scaling and you don't know how to run the operations. She's the CEO of the company. I'll just go through this really quickly. And don't take this to heart for every company. This varies by company. Based on me looking at what she's doing, she needs to just be the CEO and do what she's doing and hire a COO to run the company, to run the operation, run the distribution, worry about the marketing, all of that stuff that she needs to do, all of the infrastructure things is what a COO needs to do. And a lot of people confuse a CEO and a COO. CEO is more overview, broad view of what the company is, what the company is doing, how they're doing, and keeping an eye on the long-term financial health of the company. But a COO is in the trenches. They're in there day in and day out. They know everything that comes and goes from that business, and they know every move that's made, every branding that's done, every marketing, every distribution channel that's out there. All of that stuff is what a COO takes care of. So, and people, they sleep on COOs and don't think they're necessary, but they are. What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. But the guys, right. So what I was thinking, you have to be prepared. You can't say, well, you didn't give me a chance to tell you, or you didn't give me a chance to speak. They're not there to give you a chance to speak. You have to have it all laid out on the table when you walk through that door. They were not prepared, so shame on them. Now, I can't speak to whether or not their product or service, their security system was something that's investable. I don't know, because I'm not in that space, in the security space with technology. But based on their presentation, I wouldn't have given them a deal either. I think that the guys were very rude. I mean, as soon as they opened their mouths, they just pounced on them. And, for entertainment purposes, I found it intriguing because I haven't seen that kind of frenzy in a long time where, they just kind of dogpiled on the people, on the person. But yeah, they look like deer in headlights. I felt so bad for them. But if you're going to come and ask somebody for money, especially for what they were asking for, you have to be prepared and you have to be on point. There's no waffling in business. You want an investment, you got to tell me why you need an investment from me and why I'm the person to help you. And if you can't show me where my money will do good and that this is an investment that's worthwhile, I'm not going to give you money. I'm not going to write a check. So that was just sad. It was a sad thing. But those last two girls, Oh my God. Those are the kind of girls, those are the kind of women, business owners that I love to have as clients, because they're focused, they're driven, they know their product inside and out. They just needed to get over that hump. They needed to get through so that they can expand. I love those kind of people. They were very prepared. Exactly, Miss Phenom. They had their, excuse my language, they had their shit together. And I was very impressed with them. Their mentor or guidance, not guidance, mentor or advisor was on Twitter, and she actually tweeted me because I said that, you know, some stuff about they're being on point. But she said how she was so proud of them. And that's how I feel, you know, when my clients do what they do, and even my mentees when they get these rounds of funding and things like that. And it's because not that they got the money, it's because they did the work. They did the work to get there, to get the money. They can go right now and go based on just word of mouth and marketing and things like that, and they could probably kill it before they even need an investment. But they were smart enough to get their business built, get that foundation set, and now they can go ask for money. They can just checks will write themselves for them. Those are the kind of clients I love, because they're, to me, and like I said, I don't know them, I haven't met them, but just watching them and how they pitched them and how prepared they were, they look like the type of women who had a dream, they had a plan, they worked that plan, they did all the research they needed to do, they dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, they did all of the work that they needed to do, and they did it, and that made them investment ready. You know, and that kind of leads me back to incubate to accelerate, where my hope, my goal is to start having I want to have 1,000, I want to get 1,000 in the next 5 years, 1,000 businesses, 1,000 companies, to go from business to company. And I want them to be prepared. I want my hope, my vision, my goal for my, I guess, attendees. I don't want to call them students because that's not really what they are. But my goal for them is so that they are so self-sufficient, they're so functional, and they are so well put together and streamlined and organized that they are generating revenue, that they don't need investments, but investors look at them and said, you know what, that's the kind of company I want to invest in. And they end up attracting investment dollars. We all know ideally the best position to be is when investors come to you and they want to invest in you. Most of us, most people, most companies have to go out chasing dollars. But if you do the work in the beginning and you build that foundation and you build that company to where it's scalable and generating revenue and potentially profitable, the doors will open for you, for investors. And this is what they learned. Those girls, what is it, Lollyware? I love it. I actually want to go look for it after we get off this Periscope. I'm going to go and I'm going to check it out because I want to, now I'm curious. I want to try it as a consumer. But yeah, I would have given them an investment too. They were on point. One of the things that bothered me the most of this episode was when, what's her name? Mickey Bay. When I hate to go back to her. I'm not picking on her. I really am not. I'm just trying to keep it as real and 100% real as possible. But it really bothered me when she started crying. Now, full disclosure, I'm 46 years old. I'm not old. I've earned every one of my years. I don't lie about my age. But at 46 years old, you know, there comes a time when if you've been in business, I've been in business 21 years. Okay, I've owned several companies. I mentor people. I will continue to the day I die to be an entrepreneur. And you get to a point where you just have to get so secure in yourself that if someone doesn't believe in you, it's their loss. You got to take the criticism, take the advice and the guidance. You have to process it. And for me, she didn't even sound like she was coachable to me. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but every time someone opened their mouths to say something, she automatically jumped up. Now, here's an issue that I have with that because, and it's not her per se, but what it represents. The first thing people are going to think is, oh, she's an angry black woman, or and I hate that it has to go there, but we have to be 150% on point. We can't have the tears. We don't have that luxury, you know, and I can go back and believe me, please trust me and don't get mad and send me hate mail, but, and I don't want to, I'm not making this a racial thing. I'm just really pointing out the things that have happened. I've seen, you know, white women who were moms, and I forget which season it was, and if you've watched Shark Tank all the seasons, you probably know what I'm talking about, where the girl started crying and they called her back in and they gave her a deal. Mickey wasn't that fortunate. They didn't try to make any accommodations for her. Not saying it's a race thing or anything, and then I don't believe on a conscious level, I don't believe that it was. My point being that means we have to come twice as prepared, twice as ready. We have to be on point. There is no crying in business. There is no crying. Now, I'm not going to lie. There are days when I'm going to pull my hair out and I feel so frustrated that it's like, okay, I need a moment. I got to cry. But what's that old commercial? Never let them see you sweat. I'm not going to let people see me crying. You know, thank you for the hearts. Business is business. And that's what it is. Business is not emotional. I can be passionate and emotional about my business. And yeah, there are things that I run into that are obstacles that I get frustrated with. And yeah, I may have a day where I'm like, let me just break down and be to myself. But I get back up and I keep it moving. You keep on trucking. We cannot. Women of color cannot break down and look weak. And I agree 100% with what Barbara says. And this is for all women, not just women of color. The moment the tears come, the moment you start crying, you lose some of your power. Because then they start looking at you like, oh, it's just, oh God, it's an emotional woman. Oh God, it's a girl thing. Oh Lord, it's a chick thing. It's happened. And we got to stop that. We have to we got to take a moment, cry after, like the big dude, the first dude that went up, the first guy, he cried after he got the deal. Yeah, and I don't think men should be crying on Shark Tank, but you know what? Hey, he was emotional. He was happy. He cried after he got the deal. Save the emotional stuff for after, when you walk out of the door. No matter how upset, no matter how angry, no matter how happy, how grateful, whatever your emotion is, you can still be human. You can still show compassion. You can still be, you know, you don't have to be a robot. Nobody's saying that. But the breaking down and crying, nobody believed in me, and this, no, save that. Because at that point, when she started crying, she might have had a chance. I think she might have had a chance. And then the moment the tears started, you saw how everybody on the panel got quiet and nobody said anything. And then Barbara was the first one to speak up. No is a great answer. Just keep networking and connecting. Your business will build. Absolutely, Val. Absolutely. No is a motivator. You know how many people told me no in my lifetime? I hate the word no. But in my 46 years, what I've learned, not my whole 46 years, because when my 20s, I was the same way. You couldn't tell me that. I just knew it. I just knew if it was their love. I don't care if they forget them, F them, or whatever. At 46, I've learned that no's means not right now, not this person, or not this way. And for me, I'm about to get spiritual on you guys here. For me, I listen to what he says. And when God leads me, if it's a no, I know it's a no for his doing. It's a reason. Transfer that energy into building your business, not crying. Yep, exactly. Exactly. All that energy. Or take the crying to when you go to bed at night or when you get behind closed doors. But I listen, when those no's come, I don't look at it as they hate me or they don't like me or I'm not good enough or my business isn't good enough. You know, yeah, I went through that in my 20s. You know, when I started, and this is, we going way back now. I started in 1994. My son was 2 years old, going on 3. I had quit my job as a recruiter at a staffing agency because they were taken over, they were acquired, and I thought I could do it better. And I decided I was going to just go ahead. I'm going to do it. Forget them. I'm going to do my own business. I didn't know a damn thing. I didn't know anything. And I built that company over 6 years. And there were a lot of tears. There was a lot of struggles. And by maybe 4, going into year 5, I finally started taking constructive criticism, and I finally started looking at no's as, well, maybe it wasn't right. Now, I wasn't like where I am now with a no. Back then it was still stinging a little bit, but it was like, maybe it's a reason for that. But it wasn't until, like, I would say even, and I'm being very honest and transparent here, maybe 39, 40, when I hit around that age, when I really started thinking, okay, there's a reason. And the one thing I know, when I feel something in my gut, I know that's God speaking to me. He's never wrong. I may be mad, I may be upset about it, like, oh, come on, I wanted to do it this way. But if he says no, it's a no for a reason. So, and I'll give you an example. I had a client, well, it was a potential client that I met with, and they told me no. They weren't ready or whatever, and they were making all these excuses or whatever. And I was very upset because I spent a lot of time courting this client. It was like about a 4-month process of courting them. And then finally it was, no, you know what? I don't think, not going to work. 2 years later, I get a phone call. Hey, you know, our whole recruitment department has been transferred over to HR, and that's not working. And, you know, when we talked, we decided to keep it in-house, and we were going to let our HR managers do it, which I always say is a big mistake, but we're not going to get into that. But, you know, it was, can you help us? And it ended up being a bigger project than I anticipated. So that no back then really saved me, because I would have been frustrated. It would have been, I'd have had a lot of resistance. And then when I finally got the word from them 2 years later, they were ready. They were ready. They were open and accepting to what I had to do. And they stepped back and let me do what I do. And we ended up doing it. The company is a big it's an international company. I'm not going to name the name, but you know, it's like, wow, no's are for a reason. And no is not the end of the world. It doesn't mean that it'll never happen. It just means not right now, not this person, or not this way. And it's up to you to figure out what the right solution is. So I really hope Mickey can work on taking criticism. I hope she needs to patent her thing. I don't know if she was trying to patent the process. I mean, you guys tell me you watched it. I don't remember what she said. But if that's what she's supposed to be doing, she should have done that before she came into the Shark Tank. Because what did I say? Have your leverage. Have your leverage before you walk through that door. She didn't have her leverage. Because right now, the way she showed, and I don't know, I'm not an esthetician, I'm not an eyelash guru or anything, but to me, what she showed, the close-up of the process, it looks like anybody could have done that. And she really needs to patent her process if she doesn't want people to come up and scoop up behind her. So I think that I hope someone can reach out to her and just from the kindness of their heart really mentor her and guide her and help her, because I want her to make it. And I think that she's on to something. I don't think her valuation was right. Not in my opinion. The numbers didn't add up. For $60,000 in sales to ask for $300,000 for, what was it, 10%? Nah, those numbers didn't sit right with me. But, you know, I just hope that this was a lesson for everybody. And I hope that you can see, if you look at it, if someone wants to understand what I do, I think those two instances are good compare and contrast, because you look at Mickey's situation, she has a business and it's her, mostly her. She's hired a couple of people, but it's mostly her. Whereas the other two girls for Lollywear, they have the makings of a company. They've done all the groundwork. They've done all the hard stuff. They built the infrastructure for their business. That's the difference between night and day. And that's how I operate. I wouldn't necessarily work with the Mickeys. I work more with the Lollywears, if that makes sense at all. But my goal is to incubate, to accelerate, and take people like Mickey and turn them into the girls with the Lollywear. So if that makes sense. I'm tired. It's late. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. But yeah, I just want women to own their power. Know the power that you have. Know the leverage that you have. And do the best that you can to build your business. This is not a game for me. You know, my business is my life. That's my legacy. It does. You must be coachable. Yeah, absolutely, Miss Fina. You know, this is my life. This is my legacy. When I die, I hate talking like that, but now I sound like my mother. When I die, I'm leaving my legacy to my son, you know, and I want it to be where he can step in and be chairman of the board and it'll already run itself. You know, he just has to come in every month and check out what's going on, read reports, sign checks, or whatever he got to do. But it's being handled, it's being run, and it's a legacy company that'll be around for years and years. Because what did I say? $100 million company. That's what I'm shooting for. But, you know, I just want women. I think that there are some great coaches out there. And here's where I get into trouble. Let me make a disclaimer. I am not being disrespectful to small businesses and, you know, home-based mom and pop business or mom businesses, whatever you want to call them. You know, the $100,000 business, the $250,000 business, that's fine. If that's what you want to be, that's what you want to be. And I think that's beautiful. But when you're trying to be a multi-million-dollar business and you're trying to build a company, an empire, part of your legacy, we have to stop focusing on building our mailing list and building a good website and search engine optimization and internet marketing and all of. We need to get down to the unsexy stuff. Workforce planning. How do I know when I need more staff for my company? We need to get down to expansion planning. How do I take my company global? How do I take my company national? You got to be national before you can get global, you know? How do I make sure that I'm breaking into new markets? How do I make sure that, you know, my company is scalable? So that whether I have 5 clients or 500 clients, it's a scalable process that I won't break down along the way. You know, how do I make sure that the technology works for my company? How do I make sure I have the proper distribution channels for my company? You know what? I'm not an and I said this on my Periscope the other day. I'm not an information purveyor. I have a lot of content. I have some books. I have CDs and stuff like that. But that's not what I sell. That's not what I do. I fix companies. I grow companies. I scale companies. I build leaders. I build teams. That's what I do. I don't want to teach anybody how to do it. I don't want to write a book about how to do it. I don't want to sell DVDs about how to do it. I want to do it. And I think that a lot of women fall into that comfort zone of, oh, if I can just be an information entrepreneur, I can, you know, do a webinar or a series on how to teach someone how to do this, then I have a seven-figure business. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But my thing is, you got to dig deep down and see, what kind of business am I trying to build? What kind of legacy do I want to leave? And what problems do I solve for people? And for me, I'm sorry, internet marketing and writing books, that's not profitable for me. My profit comes in helping the companies get to where they need to scale. That's just me, and I know I'm probably going to get some backlash and some hate for saying that, but it's the truth. You know, we all need to do what we're good at. Anyway, I'll step off of that for now. But yeah, I mean, this was the best episode that I've seen in a long time. I mean, and this even beats last season. And we're only 2 episodes into Shark Tank. So I hope that you guys will, you know, continue to live tweet with me on Shark Tank. And I hope you'll come back and watch some of my, you know, when I do Periscopes. But yeah, let's start talking about stuff that's going to build legacies. Let's start talking about building companies. Anybody can start a business. How do you move from information entrepreneurs to scaling up? Well, it depends on what your expertise is. Because you can be, let's say, and this is just throwing this out there, let's say that you are a CPA, right? You know what a CPA does. You know what your skill set helps companies to be financially, you know, in the black, not in the red. You help companies grow and make money and profitize and all that other stuff. But if you were, say, a CPA who doesn't want to work with clients and you just want to do books and DVDs and CDs, you're not really using your gift. So I would say shift away from trying, that's the best way to say it, shift away from trying to teach people how to do something and focus on actually solving the problems, if that makes sense at all. Because most of the time, information entrepreneurs, information products, I should say, are designed to teach somebody something. Use your gift, use your skill, use your talent to grow your business and use those services to solve problems for someone else. So that's the best way that I can explain it. And again, there's nothing wrong with information entrepreneurs. If that's what you want to do, if you want to put set it and forget it and just make passive income and, you know, have books and things, that's fine, because I have them too. But that's not the core of my business. And this is what I try to explain to people. No, I'm not a coach. No, I don't do info products. I actually get in and I provide services. I solve a problem. Like, I don't want to write about recruiting. I build recruitment teams. I build recruitment processes. I write processes. I implement technology. So that's the difference. So I hope that answers your question. I don't know. And I'm tired. So I hope that answers the question. But thanks for tuning in my late night ramblings. It's after 10:30 now. But if you have any topics that you guys want to talk about going forward, I mean, I already told you, I'm not going to talk about marketing. I'm not going to talk about products and things like that. There are plenty of people who do phenomenal jobs of talking about that. So if you want to talk about anything about building a business as far as internally, infrastructure, staffing, operations, revenue generation, things like that, yeah, we can talk all day long. But, you know, just let me know. I got to go because I got an early day tomorrow. Got to meet my nephews. And no, I'm not going to bring him back on because y'all give him all those hearts. But but I thank you for tuning in. And if you have any questions, just tweet me at talentdiva, or you can send me an email at info@empowerme.org. Check out ia.empowerme.org for the Incubate to Accelerate, or magazine is at magazine.empowerme.org. Just don't go to empowerme.org. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the hearts. But just don't go. Give me at least until tomorrow evening before you go to empowerme.org, because it's a hot mess right now. I've torn it down and I'm rebuilding it. So hopefully make it better, make it more efficient. So with that said, I'm out. Deuces. Peace out. Thank you, ladies, for joining me, and I will catch you next time. Good night.